Today I'm going to talk to you about shooting from improvised positions and how using a rifle tripod can make that a lot easier for you to get a stable platform. A little bit about myself. I'm currently a member of a SWAT sniper team. I've been on the sniper team for about 7 years. I've been with the police department now for about 10 years. And before that, I was in the United States Marine Corps as Marine Recon. A rifle tripod is one of the most important tools that we use on a SWAT sniper team because we set up in so many unique improvised positions when it comes to callouts in an urban environment. A couple examples that we've used this for is maybe you're inside of a building or inside of a house and you're trying to shoot through a window, but you don't want to put your rifle out of a window and expose your location. So you can be back inside the room with the rifle on a tripod, and it helps clear that distance so you can still see and shoot out of a window, but also have a very stable platform. We also sometimes set up on like awkward angled roofs where maybe the target is in front of us, but the only way that we can set up, the only available position is on a roof with kind of an awkward slant when we're trying to shoot forward. So you can set up a tripod for maybe like a kneeling or sitting type position and make the legs on the downhill side longer than the legs on the uphill side, and that way we can get a nice level stable shooting platform when shooting from a roof. We might also be on a flat roof with a raised parapet, and instead of maybe being right up on the roof, if that's not ideal, we may back up a little bit and go into like maybe a sitting position or even a standing position with the tripod to help us see over the parapet. Another example that I had was one where we had a hostage situation where the suspect was known to continually coming out. He was continuing to come out of a balcony on the second story, and nothing in the area allowed us to have a high ground position because of the large trees. So what we did is set up ground level in like a tucked away position, and we were able to get the tripod raised all the way up. So from a standing position, we were able to lower our body a little bit and then get a stable position looking upward at the suspect. And that way we were able to stay there for several hours and not tire ourselves out too much, still maintain a very accurate and reliable position. And then that way, if we had to take a shot from there, we would be able to. So when you're getting a tripod, there's a lot of different things that you can buy for this. And usually what we find is getting a high quality, high dollar tripod is going to really pay off, because these things, they break, they can be flimsy. If you get cheap ones, if you get a high dollar one, then it can be a lot more stable and a lot more durable, for a duty rated type tripod. Even if you're a hunter and you're, carrying this around through the mountains, dropping your backpack, you want it to be as high quality as you can afford. So when buying a tripod, there's a few different ways to have the rifle on the tripod. The most common one is like a saddle type method, where it's literally just like a clamp, and you put your rifle in that clamp and you tighten it down, and it squeezes the kind of like the center of gravity of the rifle. Those are very popular. The reason we went away from those on our team is because the semi-automatic rifles that we were using prior to having these bolt actions, when we would clamp down on the receiver where the barrel and the receiver met, we noticed it would change the point of impact quite a bit. Now, that's a very rare occurrence from what I know. I've only seen it on that one specific platform, and so we ended up going to this platform, which is more of a beanbag type. It's made by Gray Ops. It's like a very heavy duty, thick beanbag, and you can just rest your rifle on top of it, and it creates its own little stable pocket, and that way you can get a lot more positions set up a lot faster than you would with the clamp, where you have to set it in the clamp and then tighten it down. And sometimes those seconds are important, especially when setting up quickly. Another one is like an ARCA rail, and I'll bring the camera in here to help you guys see better what I'm talking about. All right, hopefully you can see this better. I loosened this up so I can take off the Gray Ops bag. But what you have here, and this is really going to be common with pretty much any rifle tripod, is you're going to have the ARCA rail clamp. This is just going to clamp onto the ARCA rail, and it's ARCA spelled, I believe, like ARCA. You can get ARCA rails directly mounted to the bottom of your rifle, and you can put the rifle on there and just clamp it onto that. You can fine tune it here, and then this is just the quick release lever. You can also get, if you have maybe like an AR-15 style platform or something with a Picatinny rail on the bottom of it, you can get adapters where the ARCA clips onto the bottom of it to an ARCA rail, and then the top is like a Picatinny adapter, so that way you can clamp it directly to Picatinny. And then the saddles, I forgot to bring mine out here today, but it's got the ARCA on the bottom. You clip it into here, tighten that down, and then it's literally just like a saddle that you tighten and it squeezes the rifle. This is the Gray Ops. I don't know what they actually call it. It's pretty nice beanbag that's become really popular with our team. It's got the ARCA on the bottom, and then when you can clamp it in here, tighten it down, and then you have a really quick, stable platform that you can just rest your rifle on top of. And it, as the beanbags, you know, the beans inside separate, it creates its own little kind of saddle for it to sit in. I like this a lot because it's very quick to set up, and it's hold on, let me tighten this down really quick. Okay, so it's very quick to set up, and then if you're deploying with like a 2-man sniper team, you can have one sniper where he has a rifle here, and then his buddy can take his tripod, raise it up to, you know, like underneath the elbow, and then that way it helps give 2 points of contact, so there's less movement and it makes it a lot more stable. I'll show you now what we keep them in our backpack, and then kind of go over some of that gear for you guys. All right, so one thing I'm a really big fan of is having these backpacks with the rifle sleeve in the back. I think they call it a scabbard. Not so much for carrying the actual rifle, but what we get to use it for instead is keeping your tripod and maybe like a small stool inside of it. It's nice because if you need to get into a quick improvised position, you can just throw off your backpack, you know, like set it down and then put your rifle on top of the backpack, and then from here you can get into some nice like kneeling or sitting positions. But because those tripod legs go all the way down to the bottom, you end up with a really stable shooting platform that you could just pull into your shoulder, and then that's something that you could stay behind for quite a long time if you needed to. And then if you need the tripod itself quickly, you can just pull it out, set it up really quick. Then you can pull out your little stool here. This isn't anything fancy. This is just a stool that I bought online. You can get them at Walmart for like $10. And then I just painted it to just blend in a little bit better. So you can sit down on the stool, you can get your rifle, put it on the tripod, and then from here, you know, adjust. But this is something that I can stay in for a really long time. A lot of our callouts can last 5 to 8 hours. That's not unusual for it to last that long before we can get the suspect into custody. So it's nice to be able to sit and be comfortable for a long time, because the longer you sit and you're uncomfortable in a weird position, you're going to start focusing on how tired you are, how uncomfortable you are, and then you're going to start, your shooting position is not going to be as stable as you would like it to be, and then you will start focusing on how uncomfortable you are and not focusing on the mission at hand. And then from there, you're basically useless. So it's really nice and important to be able to get into a comfortable position that's, you know, reasonable for that specific location, but something you can stay in for a long period of time, whether you're in like a tactical type SWAT scenario, or maybe you're a hunter and you need to stay in a hunting like hide for a long period of time without scaring the game. This is something that will help you stay comfortable, keep you off the ground, which is another important thing if you're in the winter. Then being able to stay off the ground to keep you a little bit warmer, right? When you're sitting on the ground, all that heat is sucked out of your body, and now you're cold, you're uncomfortable, and goes back to kind of what I was just saying about being comfortable is helps you really be able to focus and take an accurate shot when you need to. On that topic, this is winter warfare, so we are here to also explain why, how a tripod might be able to help you in a winter environment. So aside from getting you off the ground, getting you out off of the cold, maybe you are setting up in a like deep snow, deep, fresh, powdery snow. You don't have anything else to rest the rifle on, and you can't go prone because you're just going to sink into the snow. So you can get into a standing or a sitting position on the tripod and then have a really nice raised position that's elevated above the deep snow. So really, like, I can't talk enough about tripods. They are very helpful. It's a huge tool that we use a lot in the SWAT sniper community. I've been through several different sniper schools where we can only shoot like the entire week or two or however long it might be. Nothing is from the prone, nothing's from the bipod. Literally everything is from improvised positions, and having a nice tripod is something that's going to really help you out when you're trying to shoot from really awkward spots. Okay, so the last thing I want to go over, and I can't stress this enough, is you need to train with whatever you're going to use. Having the equipment and not training with it and expecting it to work for you when you need it the most is not going to work as well as you might hope. It's important to, one thing that helped me a lot is just a lot of dry practice, a lot of dry fire, just setting this up at my house, having small targets, maybe having some sort of a moving target, and just sitting there doing a bunch of dry practice and being able to figure out what works best for you. I personally like to kind of get almost like a C grip, because nothing too much where it blocks your view, and then just being able to pull it into you with both hands. Other things that people do is they might get the sling and then they wrap the sling around here, twist it up, and that kind of tightens it down and pulls the front of the rifle down a little bit. And then when you're pushing down on the buttstock, it just creates a really much more stable platform. I've seen people where they disconnect this. I'm not a big fan of this one, just because if you need to get out of there quickly or you need to move quick and pack up, then this is just another thing you're going to have to deal with, is unclipping the quick release sling. But I've seen where they, maybe from a standing position, have the sling clipped into their belt, and then they can tighten it down and then lean, outward a little bit, and it pulls it down. That's not something I personally like, but I've seen people use it. Some people love it. It's just not for me. But you need to train with it, right? So both live fire, dry fire, and just figuring out what works best for you and the specific setup that you guys have. Thank you for watching my video, and I hope this is helpful. Let me know if there's anything else that you guys would like to see, and I'd be happy to help make those videos.
It's all